Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. As you can hear, Miss Honey has been asleep all day. I was completely depleted from a long, arduous week, and then Saturday I had a funeral, which seemed like it went on all day, and today I just did not have it to give. I'm giving you guys a shimmery lip, but that is the height and the breadth of the makeup. You guys already know what it is. It's Sunday, so we're here to do Real Housewives of Potomac, which was not on last Sunday, so we're kind of catching up with the ladies coming back from New Orleans. Before we get into this episode really good, I want to thank all my new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am absolutely ecstatic to have you as a member of our tribe. Also, if you are new to my channel and you would love to subscribe, I encourage you to do so, and also hit that notification bell. Of course, I love it when you guys give me the thumbs up. It's like saying, hey, Miss Honey. And let's comment down below. It's called Sex, Lies, and Butter Knives. The episode opens with Candice and Chris kind of talking about the fact that she feels she has somewhat outgrown the home that she's in. She wants more cabinet space, but more importantly, she wants to, I think, get out from underneath her mom's thumb. I mean, essentially, her mom owns the condo that they live in, and I know that it was kind of purported that she and her mom went in on halvesies on this home, but as we go along, it seems more like it was a home that her mom purchased, and she is living in the home, and Chris is living in the home with her now that they're married, and they were living there before they even got married. And he doesn't really seem like he's in like this great super great rush to move, because I mean, let's face it, it's cushy. From what her mom says, Candice don't pay no rent at all, so they live in there without, in terms of paying for a mortgage or paying rent prices, they're not doing that. So he's not in some great hurry to leave now, but he says, you know, I got this cookbook coming out, and having the ladies over will help get some great feedback on some of the items that are in the cookbook he's gonna make for them. And Candice feels like the sooner they get these cookbooks out, printed, and sold, the sooner they can move. And I'm just like, Candice, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, two heads is supposed to be better than one, right? So what are you doing to contribute? Being on this show, keeping up mess on this show, I guess is your contribution, because you get a Bravo check. But I don't know, girl. It just seems like, what is this, your second season on here? Third? You should have gotten at least $250,000 from Bravo collectively at a minimum. Girl, you could have been moved. You could have been moved if that's what you wanted to do. I think things have just really depreciated between her and her mom, to the point now where she realizes that she's not gonna be able to ride this wave any longer. You know, she's gonna have to come up off of her own coin. But obviously she enjoys shopping. They had boxes stacked up in the living room. We see where Ashley, Giselle, and Robin supposed to be exercising. They were dressed in exercise gear, but they were just walking casually in the park. And of course, everything that was discussed with Giselle is brought up and thrown out there. So she makes it seem like, Giselle does, like, she makes it seem like she's not sure where things kind of went left between Candice and Ashley, but you have been the common denominator. Whatever Candice has said to you in private, her little private snippies and gossips and little backbiting that women do behind their backs, you have decided to take it and take it directly to Ashley, or to bring it up and drop it in front of Ashley in a group setting. But yet you want to say out loud you don't know how things got this bad. It's because you bone carrying, my dear. And she also makes the, repeats the comment that Ashley made about Monique and Katie, and Monique saying that Katie looked like Amistad, which is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. If you've ever seen Amistad, and you obviously you've seen Katie if you watch this show, like, I would have needed a little bit more context, because I wouldn't have been able to put it all together. Even if Monique did make a mean joke about it, I would have needed a little bit more context to even get the joke. Like, it's so polar opposites. It's just, I just don't see how they have. Anyway, thanks to Candice and her childish behavior and talking out of school and talking to the wrong person. I mean, it's ridiculous. Robin says she kind of agrees with Candice on some things, because it does kind of seem like Ashley is not as committed to having a baby as one would think. Okay, but she don't want nobody in her business, so she ain't finna get into Ashley's business. But again, Candice and Robin are the only two people that really know about the whole "I'll suck your stick" comment that Michael made at L2. Also, we get to see Ashley and Michael have decided to get rid of the pool table. He don't want to get rid of it, but she want to get rid of it because she want to get the house prepared for a baby and having children. And what I don't like about this scene is that, like I said, they're not an authentic couple to me, and it's just the constant jabs at other people and their private business I find in poor taste, especially where it comes to a man. He just seems like he kind of leads the charge. Like he was saying, they're taking the pool table out. That's turning us into an old couple. We turn it into Ray and Karen. Now, while I understand what he was saying, because Ray and Karen never look older than they did when they was out there on the dance floor, when they were in dance class trying to learn to dance, it was just apparent. It was apparent to me that they're a seasoned couple. Let me just say that. But for him to make that comment, and then, let's see what else. And then Ashley was telling him that Candice invited her over to her house for dinner with the girls, and it was gonna be all the girls and no hubbies. And he was saying, Candice's house, you mean her mother's house, don't you? You mean her mother's house, don't you? So, like, even amongst themselves, it's being brought up. Now, you used to this from girls, but it's just weird that Michael is participating in it. You never hear Ray or Monique's Chris. I mean, Michael will chime in. Candice's Michael will chime in if the conversation is going on in his presence. But none of the other husbands have jabs or digs or negative comments to say about the other couples. Like, not on camera. He knows that the cameras are there. He knows what's going on, and he's playing into it. And I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, it's in poor taste, especially coming from a man. Also, we see where Giselle wants to buy this home that needs a lot of work. The house is sitting, I think, on like 1.5 acres of land. It's in Bethesda, Maryland. To get 1.5 acres of land and a house under $1 million in Bethesda, Maryland is supposed to be a very, very good investment. Giselle seems very, very committed to doing this. She wants her mom's approval, so she takes her mom out there to see the property. We don't get to see the inside, but we get to see the outside, in the back of the home, and hear some ideas that she has for the home. Sounds like a good idea. You know, she's got a bona fide contractor instead of just some random person. It's weird that you have a friend who's rehabbing as a money maker, and you don't even have her in the conversation. You don't have her in the loop in the conversation at all. And the reason why is because no one's taking Robin in this flip it and fix it storyline that she has going on. No one takes that serious. And this conversation Giselle is having with a bona fide realtor, a bona fide contractor, and her mom just proves that she doesn't take Robin and her shenanigans seriously. Giselle's mom tells her she's courageous, and she really supports her, and she admires her for taking this leap. So Robin, Juan and the boys fix Robin breakfast in bed. It would be a cute moment if it wasn't. I don't know. Me personally, I don't see a lot of lovingness between Robin and Juan. I mean, he does these gestures, which I guess are loving and thoughtful. It's just physically, they always seem kind of separate. They aren't affectionate towards one another. Even in conversation, like, everything is kind of sterile in locker room. Anyway, the boys make her breakfast, and she just tells the story about how they were able to keep it from the boys for many, many years, but then they got older and they began Googling them and found out they were divorced, and now they have questions about the divorce. And I guess it's kind of weird for them like it is for us, because he's still in the home or she's still in the home. So anyway, she's saying they're gonna have to make a decision about, how they're gonna handle things, because the boys now have questions. So I was just like, yeah, when y'all sit the boys down and talk to them, can y'all record it so we can all hear it as well? Because we all need clarity on whatever the heck it is you and Juan got going on. Monique has decided that she wants to have an unusual photo shoot for, her baby bump photo shoot. She does it in the pool with apparently a wedding dress, and it's underwater shoot. It turned out to be really, really pretty. I don't know. I think I might be too practical. Maybe I can't wrap my mind around avant-garde as it pertains to photos and photo shoots. I just like, why would you have a whole dress on in the water, under the water, pregnant with you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, did you fall in from your, it was just, I don't know. I don't get it. I think in order to push the envelope and be different, people have come up with these really peculiar ideas. Okay, anyway, Ashley comes over while she's in the pool, and they get a chance to talk. And of course, Ashley tells about the conversation that she and Giselle and Robin had while walking, where at Monique's rainbow baby party, Candice was making a comment about Ashley and Michael not being sincere. And she also pointed out that Candice was saying some things about Monique being ugly towards Katie, because Katie had her hair wrapped up and calling her Amistad. Now, mind you, when Ashley got there, Monique was, kind of happy about the fact that they was able to put things behind them, and she kind of solidified that with Ashley, and she felt like we don't have to ever talk about that whole situation that went on between us last season at all, because that's water under the bridge. And I feel like if you forgive a person, you shouldn't be bringing it back up. And I feel the same way. I think it's a very valid point. So to come from this place where she's like, kumbaya, everything's copacetic, to hearing how people are continuing to drag her name and talk about her, I think threw her off a little bit. So Candice has called and invited her to come to the house for the cookbook party. And first she want to go to lunch with Candice and talk to Candice about it a little bit. It was just a weird, awkward lunch. Candice was being her normal fake self, where, you know, and you look so beautiful. And but as soon as Monique got into the conversation, I mean, Candice's eyes got to darting around and looking around, and she was just like, you know, she never quite owns up to what it is she has to say. Now, when she started the episode, she and Chris was talking. She was telling us in the confessional that her and her mom had gone to a mutual friend's wedding, and they had gotten into a verbal spat, and her mom hauled off and smacked her in the face with her purse. I was like, oh, you could kind of tell it was a really hurtful moment and for Candice, and she mentioned that people have been standing around. So now that her and Monique are having this conversation, and she's completely not taking ownership for what she says. I mean, Candice is really, really childish. She really, really is childish. And it's weird because it's kind of playing out on TV, her trying to come into her own where her mom is concerned. And it's kind of awkward. It's kind of painful. I feel for her. At the same time, I kind of want to smack her in the face with my purse, you know. So Monique is kind of calling her out on it, like, you know, I didn't mean it like that. And Candice is not accepting it. It's like you have to side with her in the conversation, or for whatever reason she goes 0 to 60. And Monique was right. Monique was like, the same way your mom does you, picking you apart, you're sitting here picking me apart and picking apart the things that I've said. And she's not even trying to receive what Monique is saying to her. And Candice feels some type of way about her bringing up her mom, and that's not how I meant it, and I don't think you should bring that up, and all of this stuff. I was just like, Candice, you a real piece of work. You a real piece of work. I mean, you got all these opinions about other people, yet your situation is in such dire straits that it has become physical between you and your mom, and you've got this much energy to spend on other people's business. And the one thing that she was really, really upset with Monique about was the fact that Monique pointed out that Candice was becoming who Ashley was last year. Correction, Candice is becoming who Ashley is this year. Who Ashley is, period. So we get to Candice's house, and Candice is setting out place settings for all the ladies, and Chris is busy in the kitchen. And from what I gathered from just initial impressions, his food is really, really good. So I'm looking forward to his cookbook. I'd like to see. It looks like he has quite a few appetizers in there. Giselle and Robin are the first to come, and somehow the conversation comes up about Michael wanting to suck one of the husband's stick, and it was Candice that brings it up. She's finally going to divulge it and say, you know, this is one of the reasons why I feel some type of way about Ashley and Michael's authenticity. Giselle has an epiphany. Well, this is why Candice feels so strongly about Ashley, and I'm never going to question it again. Robin's like, oh my gosh, I thought it was just me. I thought it was only me. I thought I was dreaming. You heard it too. And there's this whole conversation. Well, Chris co-signs on it. He's in the kitchen cooking. The ladies are standing there at the bar in the kitchen, and they're talking, and he kind of chimes in and co-sign on it. They all agree that Ashley, after the comment, Ashley takes Michael away for a moment, and they're gone for like 30 minutes, probably talking like when she was drunk at the wedding, and you know, they pull each other aside and get each other together. I'm sure she probably was like, okay, hold up. I agree that you can have your proclivities, but everybody ain't don't need to know about your proclivities. Okay, I'm sure that's the conversation they were having. I believe, ladies, I believe this happened. I just don't think that having this conversation right now before the girl arrives to your house and you guys are privy to the conversation, and she doesn't know anything about it, it's in poor taste, especially because you've invited a girl to your house and you dicing her up like this. Monique comes, and then Karen arrives, and Ashley and Katie arrive together a little bit later, and you know, everybody hugs and take pictures of the beautiful food and have a seat and sit down. Ashley kind of starts the ball rolling. Like, she doesn't, you know, Ashley's never been really kind of shy about getting the party started when it comes to confrontation. So she makes this, oh, I know what it was. It was supposed to be some pears that had been soaked in a wine in the salad. And Chris was asking Monique if he wanted her, because the wine hadn't been, the alcohol hadn't been cooked off, does he want her to leave the pears out? And she says yes. Even though I guess studies say you can have a glass of wine a day or a week or something while you're pregnant, she doesn't really care for the taste of wine while she's pregnant. Robin's like, oh yeah, I had a drink while I was pregnant. I drank all kinds of stuff while I was pregnant. I don't know. I thought fetal alcohol syndrome was a real issue, but apparently if you don't get drunk, it's okay. But Ashley decides to take this moment to say, well, apparently you can drink while you're pregnant. You just can't drink when you're not pregnant. I mean, when you're trying to get pregnant. They're sitting next to each other for the most part, and Candice has a now she's fidgeting because she's being thrusted into this argument, thrusted into this conversation. And while she's really, really good at being sneaky and divisive behind people's back, when it comes to confrontation, she's kind of over the top. And she starts out with this awkward thing where she's playing with her drink, and she's like she was at lunch with Monique, and stirring and, you know, looking down and just, you know, keeping herself busy. So she starts with this butter knife, and then it just turns into this thing where, as the argument goes on, she's got this butter knife in Ashley's face, and she's got this butter knife. And so the conversation probably would have went like it always does, where Ashley calmly and quietly baits Candice into going way too far and becoming way too aggressive. Candice kind of took it to the next level. One, she really wants to drop the suck your stick tea. She really wants to drop it. She wants Ashley to take her to the place where she can drop it right in her lap. Like, badell, okay? But Ashley's giving her real calm, and she makes this comment about her mom's house. You know, Candice is like, well, you can get out of my home. And she's like, well, you mean your home or your mom's home? And it was just like that butter knife just was like another person in the conversation. I mean, she just got to hitting and talking and what. It was not a good look. Not a good look on camera, girl, for you to be on here looking like you got this butter knife in this girl's face. And then Chris is trying to haul her off, and she is, get the F out of my home, get out. And then she throws the butter knife. I mean, it was in the direction of Ashley, but you know, it was projected towards the floor. She threw it down, but still, it just was not a good look. And to me, it was a very guilty thing to do, because if you feel strongly in how you feel, you just say it. To me, it doesn't require all this level of aggression. I didn't really perceive her to be necessarily aggressive in New Orleans. I thought she was just arguing and making her point. This dinner tonight, this episode, I can see the aggression that people are talking about. It's gonna get you kicked off of Bravo so fast. You being a potential threat is gonna be an issue on Bravo. I'm telling you that now. It's an opportunity for all the ladies to ice you out and make you the pariah. If you are not careful, Candice, you're going to get branded real quick. So if you don't learn how to control that anger and how to hold it in the road, it's going to be a major issue. Meanwhile, the episode ends. They are going to come back next week and still be at dinner and have this conversation about not only, you know, her negative comments to Giselle about Ashley, but also they're going to talk about this whole stick in your mouth situation with Michael. And now we're going to get an opportunity to see a little bit more about what went on with these allegations as well. But that's basically Real Housewives of Potomac. That's Real Housewives of Potomac. You guys tell me what you think. Put it down below. And until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.